Hello and thank you for joining us once again this week on Engendered on KAFTAN television, a show where we always have an in-depth analysis of all issues that affect the female gender. I am Chidinma Ufomadu.
As Chidinma rightly said, it's a show where we talk about everything that affects the women gender. I am Victoria Agbi, and we have our guest in the house already who is going to be discussing a very vital topic to us this morning. But before we get to meet her, let's join Eniola Adebayo as she gives us an insight on our topic. We'll be right back.
It is said that every child is a gift regardless of their abilities or disabilities. Now, not so many people share the same school of thought. The United Nations Children Fund states that approximately 15% of the world's population has some form of disability, whether present at birth or acquired later in life. Special needs refer to a range of conditions that require extra care and attention, which include physical, developmental, and behavioral disabilities. Children with special needs are more likely to experience social isolation, marginalization, and discrimination. Additionally, they are more likely to experience mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Caring for children with special needs is important and can be a tasking responsibility. Parenting for special needs and typical kids is like a tightrope walk without a net. These parents are faced with challenges like learning about the disability, coping with the emotional and physical demands of caring for an individual with a disability, and so much more. It is important to note that children with special needs are children first, and that each child and each disability is unique. They have the same needs as all children, a place where they feel physically comfortable, loved, and secure, opportunities to play and learn, people who care about them, activities that allow them to be successful, and people who can encourage and support them. A range of barriers limits the ability of these children to function. Access to social services like education and healthcare, and engage in their communities. These barriers include physical barriers, communication and information barriers, attitudinal barriers. Each of these is rooted in stigma and discrimination that reflects negative perceptions of disability. These children may need more time to learn and practice certain skills. They may need more praise and encouragement to gain the skills typical for their age group. They may need specific adaptations to help them succeed at certain activities. But it's important to remember that in many ways, these children have lots in common with other children. Many child care professionals and child advocates emphasize this point by using children first language, referring to a child with special needs rather than a special needs child. Based on the words of Magic Johnson, all kids need is a little help, a little hope, and someone who believes in them. Now over to Chidinma and Victoria to give you more information on the topic of discussion. Bye for now.
Glad to have you back on this segment, and if you're just joining us, you're right on time. You only missed Eniola's segment where she was giving us information about our topic of discussion today. But you're not late. We're about to start the topic of discussion. We're going to be doing that discussion today with Lillian Ekwo. She's an autism and special needs consultant and founder of TyDorn. Did I get it right? TyDorn Special Needs Limited, Abuja. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you join us.
Thank you.
You're welcome to the show. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good today. Thank you for having me in the studio.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go straight to the topic of discussion. So we would like to know, we're talking about caring for children with special needs. What kind of children or what happens to children that we categorize them under the children that have special needs?
Okay, before I answer your question, thank you for the question. Let me give you a little background, if that is okay, of what led me to this whole industry.
Okay.
So I have I had a BSc in education, biology education. Then I went on to do a master's in genetics. So while in my genetic class one day, we were doing a topic on human genetics. So I got inspired from that because a lot of children are born out of genetic situations, and they don't die off. Some of them die off at conception. Some of them are being born. So as the topic was going on, I thought, wow, okay, what about the ones that were able to survive? So who looks after them? Who looks after their mother? You know, it must be very traumatizing to have a child that, you know, is in that form. So that was how I got my inspiration. Then later on, after my graduation and everything, I had opportunity to travel abroad to read genetic counseling, because I really wanted to be the first genetic counselor in Nigeria, so that I can also help those women as they're going through those times. You know, I'll be able to step in and know how to help them, give them options, guide them on how to get through those situations. So while I was in the UK, precisely in Cardiff, Wales, in the UK, they discovered another pathway for me. They found out that my passion is actually in autism, special needs and autism. So there and there, my professor then advised me, would you like to go towards that pathway? Because they had sent me on my primary assignments. Just the same day they sent me on a primary assignment in a school with moderate learning difficulty. They quickly discovered that I had passion, even though I have not practiced, I have not done those things before. So they quickly offered me an employment. So that was how the career started. So I agreed. Then I completed, because my MSc in genetic counseling was supposed to be a professional course lasting for 2 years. So I had to break it for a year, and they gave me a diploma certificate for genetic counseling so that I can use the other year to proceed for my MA in special needs and autism in another university. And that was how the profession was born. Okay. And from 2008 up to date, I've been practicing autism and special needs. That's a little background of mine. So I had worked in over 20 schools in the UK, schools and homes. So, and being exposed to varied types of special needs situations. So on my coming back too, you know, I had privilege to work in schools, and right now I'm just on my own, still exploring and helping parents and children living in this situation. Okay. So that's my background. Okay.
Okay, so you said while you're giving us a brief of your own, how you found your profession, your career path. You said so many things, and you have given us the specialty. It's your own side. That's autism is your specialty.
Yes, special needs and autism. Okay. So they mix it like that.
Okay, yes. Then according to the questions, yes, Chidinma asked that what forms special need? Why?
Yes, I'm coming there. Yes. Yes. Okay. You know, I broke and I said I want to give a general background of myself before I go into that topic. Yeah. So when you say special needs, there are so many different types of special needs, and special needs simply means children or adults with difficulties that are limiting, that is not allowing them to perform at the same level or speed with their normal counterparts. And some of these difficulties can range from communication, learning disability, cognitive impairment. It could be behavioral challenges, it could be emotional issues, it could be physical. So it ranges that way. You know, we have so many of them, ranging from autism, we have cerebral palsy, we have Down syndrome, we have muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, so many of them, visual impairment, hearing impairment, cognitive impairment, motor impairment, so many of them, but under the category of special needs. So there are different pathways, and my pathway is just to know a little bit of all of them, but specialize in autism. Okay,
I know you've given us some of the areas, like tips to every site, but what makes a special need child special? Because I know that aside from the fact that they have low cognitive, perhaps sometimes, and we also have normal children who suffer from this too, like their learning ability is kind of slow compared to others and the rest. So what makes a special need child special?
Yeah, you asked me a question, what really made them special?
Yes.
Even though I've thrown a little bit more light on that. Yes, but let me take a case of autism. Okay, and a normal child. For a child with autism, not just because he's not processing like the other child, the other normal child, but there's something we call comorbidity. There are other issues surrounding that particular child that is very limiting. Maybe, you know, he may not be able to to communicate. There's communication issues. There is serious behavior challenges. You know, all of these little things around the disorder can really make it difficult for him to operate at the same level with his normal child, and that was what is making him to be really, really special. And being special in that format means that you have to create an accommodation, you know, a service to accommodate those issues, because you cannot put all of them in one box and say, oh, he's in the same classroom or in the same place with his normal children. It can never work. It can never work. So you have to, there must have to be an accommodation to take care of this comorbidity. No matter the type of special needs, there's other surrounding issues. So you're not just dealing with one thing, you're dealing with so many issues.
So I would like to ask, what are the causes? Because I remember you mentioned genetics and some things. I've heard some parents say things like it's from the village, it's spiritual and stuff like that. So what can we really refer to as the causes of autism, children with special needs? Is it just genetics, or are there medications or contributing factors that cause this?
Thank you very much. Yes, the underlying factor, and I'm glad that you asked these questions, because that's where we are missing it in Nigeria. You know, people living in denial, giving excuses. Oh, it's like you said, it's from the village or something. But it's not. There's an underlying issue. Well, so what is making your brain not to process as your other child? So there's an underlying scientific issue, which is genetics. So we are told in statistics that about 40 to 80% of the contributory factor is genetics. So that's a whole lot. So I mean, it has even increased now. When I did a little research on that, they said 65% of the factors is genetics. Now we are now recent research is saying 40 to 80%. So the remaining 20% is just environmental or biological factors. When we say environmental, it could be the environmental factor in the womb of the woman, because maybe there are chemicals or mercuries, you know, additives in the womb that is contributing to that issue.
Where could that come from? Is it from medication or what?
Of the food.
It could be from food. It could be from food. It could be the nutrition the parent was taking while pregnant. It could just be, you know, a build-up of chemicals. We all have chemicals in our bodies, you know, pollution and all of that. It could be accumulation of that would have affected that child while in the womb. Yes. So we say environmental factor, biological factor, and genetic factor. And then when we are talking about genetics in this light, we are not just talking about one genetic situation. We are talking about different genes. We are not talking about just one gene factor. We are talking about different genes coming together to make that child what he is.
So does the male, like for example, we know that whenever some men blame women for giving birth to only girls and no boys, it is a seed that the man planted in a woman that the woman gave out. So is it just from the woman's body or also from the man's body that can be a contributing factor?
Yes, it can be both of them. It could be age of both parents, could be age of the man that could have led to it, which is contained in his X chromosome, and his X chromosome is giving it out to all his daughters. Yes. So his daughters are all carriers of that gene. So when his daughter married to a normal child, the what do you call it? The cycle continues. So you continue to spread the gene. So a man can give it. A woman can also carry the recessive gene of the autism, which recessive means that you have a combination. Is not a dominant of that gene that is causing the autism. Is in a recessive format. So yes. So that means the woman is giving it out to her sons or to her daughters in that recessive format. So it is also carried in the X chromosome. So you're giving it to your daughters in the X chromosome. You're giving it to your sons, transferring it in the X chromosome. So they are all both carriers. So by the time they meet their future husbands, the gene continue to be multiplied in the environment.
Okay, you mentioned age. Yes. So we are saying age is also a contributing factor.
Yes.
Okay, please can you explain that better?
So the older a woman is, or the older a man is, you know, can be a limiting factor a contributory factor to some of these issues. For instance, let me not talk about autism now. Like I gave you so many different types of special needs.
Yeah.
And I said autism. I said Down syndrome.
Yes.
Yes. Down syndrome is a typical case of age of the mother, because when you expose you to different chromosomes, how many chromosomes that we all have in the body, that two parents come together, we have 23 chromosomes, per person. So we now find out in people with Down syndrome, there's a short of that chromosome because of the age of the mother. So the older you are as a mother, there's a possibility that there's an issue with your gene. There's an issue with the way your gene is forming, that can cause that kind of situation.
Okay, I want to look at it from a different angle now. I know you're into this field. Like, okay, tell us how it is educating a special need. What is child special need education in the first place?
Okay, I defined special need. So we know they have difficulties in different ways. So special education is a process, is a format, something that you have planned, a planned program to help to improve those difficulties, because you're not going to heal them, but it will improve some of these difficulties that I have enlisted. It can improve the physical situation depending on the time you come in. Early intervention we talk about is very, very paramount. If you come at the time the child is being detected, 2 to 3 years, there's every possibility that we are really going to be able to improve on some of these things, like the fine motor, improve a little bit of the cognitive impairment, improve the physical, improve the behavior, improve emotional well-being of that child, those contributory difficulties. So special education is a program that has to be planned to be able to help out, improve those difficulties.
I know you said early is better, but how old should it be a child when he attends a class for special need for education?
Okay, usually the age of diagnosis is usually 2 years, but there's a controversy with that age, because age 2 is also the time the children take the MMI vaccine, which is a measles, mumps and rubella immunization. So the thing coincided with the time the autism start to come up. So then there was an argument in the past. Parents were saying, no, it's the vaccine that caused my child's autism. So then research has actually proved that MMR vaccine has nothing to do with the situation. If we go back to what I have said, that there are some contributory factors. So because of that, when parents come and start giving you excuses at 2, I usually say to them, go back, let's give the child time. Maybe she will grow out of it. Some people, they will say, oh, they told me, my grandmother, this person said they will grow out of it. I said, fine. Let's not do any diagnosis tests right now. Let's come back at 3. If those flag out, those things, those red flag that we are seeing is still there at 3, then we now begin a proper diagnosis. And once we have done proper diagnosis, it will give us a way forward on how to plan the educational program, which we call IEP. IEP is individualized educational program. So that is the special education you're talking about, because without that planned program, you will not be able to know how to come in to deal with those issues that are pointing at you. So age 2 to 3 is the right time to come for an early intervention, so that we can start dealing with some of these things, and then you will see improvement with time.
Okay, I would like you to let us know what is your experience dealing with children with special needs and autistic children? What are the challenges that you face? How do you find, because I know personally there's nobody that can do this. You require a lot of patience. Personally, I know of someone in his school. I think the boy should be around 3 years old. He's tall, he's like the biggest in the class, but he doesn't speak. He doesn't participate. All he does, eat, go to the toilet, sleep. Whenever that child is reciting the rhyme. And if you're not careful, and he's in a school with normal children, and if you're not careful, you would want to spank them and beat them because sometimes they might seem stubborn because they are not listening to or they are not adhering to instructions. And when you tell parents sometimes that your child has a problem or maybe it's a special need and they will not want to listen to you, they'll tell you no. It's just like you said, it's at the age where he will outgrow it. So what are the challenges and what is the experience like dealing with this kind of children?
Yes, for you to go into this industry, because a lot of people are just going into it maybe because of lack of job or just to make an earning or also to make money. But you cannot go into special needs profession with all of that in your mind. You should go in with passion. Passion should be the first thing that is ruling you. Fear of God. Fear of God, because like you said, there are so many behavior challenges that they exhibit that can really be not too good for you as a person. So parents should really look out for outfits where people have their conscience and they have trained personnel who are committed to the cause of these children, that will understand them, how to manage them, understand how their brain processes information. Because you mentioned something and said it seems as if they are stubborn. They are not. They are listening to you.
Okay.
They are processing every word you are saying.
Okay.
So they need to be given time. So we need personnel that will understand where they are coming from, how their brain is processing, the way your brain is processing, the way mine and Vicky is processing. They are all very different. You might ask me a question, I will have to take a little minute to come on board. Yeah, that does not make me not smart, but it might take you faster than myself. Then talk less of those children. Their processing speed is so very slow. Okay. So you need somebody that is extremely patient and know where they are coming from. You are saying, stop. He's looking at you, or he's not looking at you, he's looking away, or he's fixated with what he's doing. Then he's processing what you're telling you. That's why sometimes some of them who don't have speech, you use a card, and then because you keep shouting and putting them under that stress to answer you, you need a quick response, which does not work that way. They will come and touch that card just to calm you down. But I'm listening. I'm hearing what you're saying. Just give me time to come on board. So we need a lot of people with patience, a lot of people who are committed, a lot of people with the fear of God, because parents are trusting the life of these children in your hand. And you should not maltreat them. At some point when I went to speak, I mandated a school that they should set up, and even government should set up a disciplinary policy in schools, especially where they are dealing with inclusion, so that any personnel that bully them or maltreat them should be subjected to disciplinary action. That is as bad as that with me. It's a zero tolerance to maltreating these children.
Okay, I think you should go down in your talk now. We have to go on a break. Okay, viewers, we'll be going on a short break, and when we return, Engendered continues. We'll be right back.
Well, thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us, you're right on time. We are still discussing the issue of special needs, attending to special kids in our society. And I've been doing this with Lillian, Ekwo. Ma, before we went on that, we were discussing on, Chidinma had raised a question. However, I would like us to look at it from the parents' angle. Do you, based on your experience, you've been in this field for a while, and you've experienced a lot of things. What would you say about parents' response to special need kids, and also, of course, also what should parents look out for when choosing schools for their special child?
First of all, parents should stop living in denial. They should stop making excuses. Once they see those signs flagging on their faces, they should start thinking about where the right place to take those children. And in choosing a school for your child, you should be looking out for almost 7 things, which I'm going to list out. I hope I'll remember all of them. But the first thing you have to remember is a school that will have respect for their inherent dignity, you know, their condition. You must also just have that respect for them, for disability for them. You have to look out for that. The head teacher or whoever that is in charge of that school must be the one that just have passion for them. So that means you're already in a good place. Then you must, that particular school must also have respect that these ones that have come in, even with their differences, that they need to evolve. So they should be given right to evolve, to come on board. All right? There shouldn't be any form of discrimination. All right? And there should be inclusion in all the schools. Inclusion means they should be with their normal counterparts.
Okay.
But every school should have a SEN unit, SEN unit or SEN unit we call it. That means special educational units, whereby the child will be in the class with normal children, so as they are picking up good characters. Then you have a planned program and set up timetable. So with time, you go and pick up that child. He's doing what his counterpart is doing in class. It's just that he's not going at the same speed. So you pick the child back into the unit, the special unit, where a teacher will sit on one-on-one to begin to explain some of those things, repeat, because they do well with repetition. So you keep repeating and repeating and repeating until you begin to go. 1 hour is the maximum the child can stay with you on 1 hour. You take that child back into class, so to include her back. So there must be participation. That particular school should allow that child the right to participate. Yes. So they should look out for some of those things. There must be a SEN unit. If there's no SEN unit, you are just wasting your time, you're just wasting your money, because nobody is following up. With trained personnel, there must be a psychologist in your school, there must be a speech therapy in your school, there must be educational teacher in your school, yes, and there must be, you know, occupational therapy in your school. All these professionals come together, because you can't work alone. All these ones that are setting up things and say they can work alone, you're just making a mess and you're just eating, taking money that you have not worked for. So there must be other professionals coming together to help you with that, just that one child. That's why it's expensive.
Okay, so you mentioned something about the mothers of these children. So I would like to ask a question. I know that you said some of them should they don't realize on time, or they don't want to come to terms with it. Now, people that have come to terms with it, how is it like for them? I know you have experience. They come to open up to you about the challenges they go through. So as a mother, what are the kind of challenges they go through? How is it like living? For example, they might have 4 children, only 1 out of the 4 might have special needs. So how is it like for them?
Yes, my work is not only for the children, it's also for the parents. In fact, I have a program. Even ongoing. We are going to be airing it soon. It's about chilling out. So I create a time where these parents have one-on-one outing with any one of those parents, maybe one parent at a time, to onboarding, because it's really emotionally traumatizing for them. It's hard for them, especially where it's just maybe one parent that is managing this situation, because usually men, when they see this serious situation, they can just abscond sometimes.
Yeah.
So then you now find out that most of them are single mothers battling with all of these situations. So it's hard for them. I wish there's something I can quantify with, and where they don't also have the financial, backing, it becomes even harder for them. That's why I also created where if a parent comes and is a single mother, most times I don't charge you. I just come, bring the child, and that's it. Or just make you feel better. Pay whatever you want to pay. Because you don't have a husband, you're battling with this issue, you have other children. So how am I going to help you? In other countries, they have support system. They support you from that child, the time they notice that that child has special need, to the time that child passes. They will support you to the end. But here in our country, we don't have such support. Everything is just you bearing it all up. So it can be very hard. It can be very emotionally, like I said, emotional for them. Okay. Yes. So
yeah, thinking about finance. Before you finish, I know you said finance could be a
limit. Yeah.
Yes. But could it be the reason why parents are often in denial? Because when they think about how much it's going to cost and the rest, they rather just allow the child just be. They imagine the child to be normal.
Exactly, because it's expensive venture. It's expensive venture because you are paying for. If you go, for example, an inclusive school, you are going to pay for the school like normal child school fees, and then you come and pay for the services that unit is providing within the school system. So at the end of the day, it's a whole lot. So assuming that your school fees is 300,000 per term, and depending on the diagnosis and the severity of your child's case, we came up and said, oh, what your child is going to be paying per term is 250. So add it. We are talking about 550 per term for a single mother. How much is your salary? So that's probably why they keep giving you excuses. They tell, let me just be getting on and be pushing. But it's dangerous because they keep pushing them until teachers, maybe at the end of the term, they buy a little gift and give them. School keep pushing them because they come with a whole lot of reports where this child cannot speak. He doesn't know 1 + 1. He doesn't know 2 + 2. But he's in primary 6. How did he get there? Who has been doing this promotion? By the time he gets to primary 6, he's having issues with common entrance. He has done the common entrance. Obviously, he will fail because government and the environment has not provided support like they have abroad, where that child must have support at that level to write that common entrance. There must be a support system. He must be given time to write, not like his normal counterparts. He should be taken out to a different room and somebody is guiding him to write that exam. Even if he passes that exam, to get into the secondary school, they are doing 17 subjects. Is that child who cannot do 2 + 2, and you have led him on till grade 6? Is he able to participate in secondary school? That is where they have problem selecting secondary school. At that point, parents might decide, oh, let him just go to normal boarding school and just be carrying on and just be carrying on. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's not good for you as a parent seeing this child that cannot do 2 + 2, 4 + 4, and is in secondary school. It's not good for the child too. So it's mostly finance or mostly ignorance, or I can't be bothered. We just keep pushing the child in the society. So we should do something right in this society, because in other societies they are these children are being looked up to at a very high esteem and well taken care of. So I'm coming from such background. So things should be done properly in this country to help these children, and at every phase of their life there must be a support
for them.
Yes.
Okay, now let's look at it from this perspective. I know that there are some parents that can't handle this. They look at it and they feel like this child is going to be a burden to them. Some of them have heard some parents say things like they wish there was a home where they can just go and keep them, like an orphanage. So at some point, would you blame some parents for wanting to give out their child? Because some of them want to give out their children and they don't want to take care of them because they feel like it's a burden for them. Is it okay for a parent to actually do that?
It's not okay, but it's because of the system that we found ourselves. And because abroad, where I was trained and I'm coming from, they have respite care, which is what I'm trying to emulate now. Living programs. You are not throwing them away. It's just for you to be able to, for your own mental health sake. You can't manage. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So they have homes like that. It's not an orphanage. It's called respite care system, which they have. They have those accommodations so that you just come and it's a school too. So they are doing school. They are doing other activities. You know, everything the child needs to be able to thrive is in that home. Okay. There are social workers who come in from time to time to see the progress of the child. Everything is well organized. You know, there are what do you call physiotherapies, there are speech, there are all the professionals that you need to really cater for the need of that child is in that respite care. And that is what I'm trying to emulate. But because of our system, parents are finding it really hard to put their best foot forward for that kind of living. They are worried about the safety of their child. But coming from where I'm coming from, I'm ready to give it my all. If anybody or any willing Nigerian or anybody is willing to support me, we'll do it in a big way, the way it is done abroad. So that's why they give them out, because they don't have that support system. It's too much. It's overwhelming. That's why I said when I started, you must have the passion and the conscience, good conscience, to be able to look after these children. Otherwise, it will be punishment and punishment. I've gone to schools to give a talk, because you see teachers giving punishment like as if they're giving normal children. It does not work that way. So I've gone to train them on what we call selective ignoring. There are things that you do. You can give them names, we call them, technical names, we call them. You can put them away in a transparent room where you're seeing the activities he's doing there. But put him away in case he's disturbing. You put him away, but you're watching him. He's seeing you until he comes and he comes back and continue with what. So we need systems that can really accommodate these children and thereby relieve the trauma that these parents are feeling. It's too much.
Okay, are there cases where you see these children perhaps outgrow this thing or recover fully?
You know, we cannot overrule miracles. We cannot overrule that there's still God in heaven who can change things. Yes, I believe in it so much. But what we are trained in, and like I said before, I said this is genetics. And anything to do with genetics is like you came to life with it, isn't it? So it's difficult to go back and correct. I wish I have my PowerPoint now that I can show you the way those chromosomes, there are different stages in meiosis that has happened that you cannot remedy. If there's a delete in a chromosome code, how are you going to remedy that in real life? If there is a substitution of the code, how are you going to resubstitute it? I mean, if there is an inversion in the code, how are you going to amend that? So it's something coming from nature. So parents need to hear it. And it's a bitter truth, unfortunately, to tell them that there is an underlying, you know. So it's something that we are trying to management strategy, which I had said, if they come early, early intervention will begin to improve some of those things. They do get better. With good support, they do get better, get to a point where the child can manage. You know, like I said before, I said there are statistics of intelligence. We have 31% of majority of them having cognitive impairment. We have 25% of them being in a borderline, and we have about 44% of them being of average or above average intelligence. But the one that is average and above average intelligence still have other comorbidities that you're contending with. All right, but if you now put the other 25 and 31% together, you can see that greater part of their problem is cognitive impairment. So how are you going to be able to sort all of that out plus other? So we can improve some things like fine motor. We can improve some things with early intervention. We can improve the speech can get better. Yes, we can do that. If somebody is committed and you are with the right professional, it can be improved. Some things can be improved. Some things can be remedied. They can improve in their dyslexic issues. You know, some of them have issues. I didn't even include it as part of it. Is the dyslexia? Yes. So
see numbers upside down.
So you can improve or reverse. You can improve in all of that with consistency. But the thing is, our parents shop around.
which I don't blame them. I will also shop around. They will come to this professional, you will start, and things are getting better, and they don't have patience. They move again. They keep moving. They keep moving, and then they move or they come back to where they started from. Things have been mismanaged. Then you start from square one. So I will advocate for consistency. Once you find the right personnel who is ready, well trained and committed to see to your child, stay there and just let's keep going with it until certain things begin to improve.
Okay, let's speak about discrimination now. I know you mentioned that earlier, and our society, we discriminate against a lot of things. Now, it has made some parents in sometimes they will rather lock up their children and not want to take them out. If they have 4 children and one has a problem, they lock that one at home and take the other 3 out. Now, this particular shame or discrimination, because they are ashamed of bringing out the child because of maybe what the child might do in public, and people start looking at you like, your child has a problem. So is it okay for parents to actually put their children away from the society? And how can we in the society, how can we change the mindset that people have about children with special needs?
We really need to change our mindset. Like I said, where I'm coming from, they are held at a very high esteem. You cannot do anything with them and you get away with it. I've worked in a place where a staff was just touching the neck of the child. They said, keep going, keep going. They've already seen it, like in your TV room. They've seen it. And then the next thing, securities gathered and escorted the staff. It is as bad as that. And that was the mindset I came back with Nigeria. They might think I'm too hard. But I'm hard because this is what has happened to them in nature. The parents are battling with it. You're supposed to be supportive, not to add to their injury. That is why I'm hard. If you come and become my team, I'm really hard on you. Hard on you, having the conscience and good mindset to look after these children. I'm coming back to your questions. Because of some of these maltreatments that we see, that's probably why, and the money. That's why you see them put them away. And for the richer ones, they don't, stigmatization we call them. Oh, your child has autism. You will now carry that. Oh, do you know that Ngozi's child has autism? So we maintain a lot of confidentiality. And when parents come to talk to us, everything you are telling us is taken with great confidentiality. All right, and we can diagnose, but we don't always like to label. Like in my logo, you see, no label, just love and care. That is my logo. You don't need to label and be saying he has autism, he has dyslexia. No, whatever that you have diagnosed, communicate with parents honestly what's going on, and then I tell them they are going to really work on it. That's why I said, when choosing a school, you have to choose a school that will not discriminate. And then you must have to create awareness. We need great awareness. They are trying, but they need to do more. They are trying, they need to do more, because the more you educate the school community, the classmates, you are just making them a better citizen. And awareness is the right of the children. It's not even that you're doing them a favor. You need to, because the government policy said that you must include them. You must give them equal opportunity. You must give them equal right, like they are. So you're not, if you're not creating awareness, you're doing them misfavor. And when you do that misfavor, you disable their environment. When you disable their environment, what are you doing? You now flag up more of those negative attitude people have over them, and they'll continue to maltreat them. So the cycle continues. So we should create more awareness, educate the school community, educate the nation, and government policies should really, like I said it before, and I'm saying it again, they should map out a task force that goes around bringing out those children that are being locked away. They poo in their room, they eat their poo. Either you don't have the issue, either you are not properly informed on what is going on, or you don't have the money. We should bring these, in fact, children protection agencies, yes, because we also belong to that batch, should go out and fish out those children, bring them out, praise them properly. And this is where government comes into it, because a lot of people are going to private schools because government don't have a lot of these outfits. I know outfits. Yes, even when they have it, they don't have good personnel. So government need to really please government pop in more money, and then get people trained, get people properly trained trained in Nigeria, trained overseas, put in money to help these children, you know, build up centers to really, and set up task force. My own is I have to set up task force to go out there and fish them out wherever they are hiding them. Because how come I'm seeing different peculiarities, a whole lot of peculiarities, where a child cannot sit or stand, he can only lie down, and then he still come to school lying down, the learning is taking place. I have not seen that peculiarities in Nigeria. So what happened to those ones that have shelf life? Their shelf life is between 5. They tell you when this child gets to 5 years, he dies. When this child gets to 12 years, he dies. I'm sure we have them, because statistics says 1 in every 100 births. 1 in every 100 births is coming. It's getting worse. So we need to begin to create a way to really help families, help parents, help women, and also help these children.
Okay, I know you. Okay. Go on. Okay, sorry. And I just wanted to make reference to what she said. Now, there was a colleague of ours that had an interview with someone that has an autistic child, and this is the same thing that happens to them. The child can't lie down, the child can't sit, the child can't feed. I think they have to use a pipe
to
take it down.
Yes.
And the husband left her.
Yes.
And she became a single mother, taking care of that child all by herself. Now sorry, Victoria, I want us to look at the cultural mindset that we have in Nigeria, because sometimes you say when you get married to somebody, you don't just marry the person, you marry the family. And there are some decisions that you want to take in the home. You know, there's the kind of case that will happen in a family. They'll say this is not something that a husband and wife can handle. They'll not involve the extended family. And in a place where a woman is trying to take care of a child with special need, and maybe the mother-in-law, the sister-in-laws, all of them come in and start feeling like there is they start tracing it down to a cultural or a traditional right that should be done. How do we save women from that kind of thing? Because during a research, I think when the woman was having that discussion, she mentioned somebody that said that it went as far as them saying they wanted to beat the child in a hot water cooking pot or something like that, because they believe it was a traditional right that would take away such thing. So have you come in contact with things like that, and how can women fight to save their children from things like this?
Here in Nigeria, I've not come in contact, but I know that I'm hearing it just the way you're reporting it. But I know that some of these children are being put away. A colleague of mine has an outfit, and one day I went to visit, and then the child body was all, you know, beaten like lashes.
He would have used broom to beat the child or something.
So, and then my colleague was telling me that when that he's getting better, that he has put him away for a long time, you know, and now he's about 16, 17. So that early stages that he would have gained management, they have denied it from him. Now, every morning they'll flog, and starve. It's by the mercies of God that the child is still alive until he came to that home. So in fact, that lady took that child on charity basis, not taking money, just to look after that. So by the time I came, he's coming on board. So it's lack of ignorance. They are not well informed. So we are still on the issue of creating awareness. If they are well informed, they will know that they need to understand this scientific basis. I would like to get prepared one time and come back and really give a PowerPoint presentation or everything about how gene come to play a part in this issue, so that they will stop blaming tradition. They will stop blaming, you know, other issues, tradition, other things. They will not know that this is something that has born out of nature. But if you start early and give each other support, you husband and wife giving each other support, and the state and federal government giving families that have special needs support financially, you know, we will improve their lots.
Okay,
you
spoke about stigmatization, to continue from that part, and you said something about confidentiality. Sometimes people are not aware that, oh, this child belongs to another person because it's none of your business. But don't you think that's a major issue why the child wouldn't even heal in the first instance quickly? Because they are being hidden by their parents, instead of them to grow in love with their parents. Maybe love with family would even help them heal better.
Yeah, love with family will even help heal better.
Because I know
yes.
an actress.
Yes.
Ife also Ife, like that. Her brother is an autism patient, and she's always with him. She is the one taking care of him, and she brings him out to the public, and he's happy. Okay, he's happy, and he talks like he's trying to talk. We all know perhaps something like that would help the child heal faster.
Yes, I mean, it's just our African nature. It's not. It doesn't happen abroad. Yeah. Because the time you are pregnant, the time the baby comes, is government picking, isn't it? Government child. So they take care. So it's nothing to do with you. But here, because of the way I said, we are not properly educated on this issue. That's why everybody. I don't want you to be pointing hand. I don't want you to come and add to my sorrow, because we can add. I'm adding to your sorrow. I'm not being helpful. But it will be very nice if parents can let go, find a good school, expose these children to good personnel, and just leave them, do what they need to do, without living in this time. Because allowing themselves to be
isolated.
Allowing these children to be isolated and allowing themselves to feel, I don't want anybody to know that I have a child like this. It's not helpful for the child. It's not helpful for you. It's not helpful for the child. So the sooner you include them in the society, the better for you. You know that you're even freer. Like the outfit I run now, parents can bring children in the morning. Like now we are going to start summer school. They'll bring them by 9:30. They'll pick them up by 7, and I'm very happy to sit with these children till 7 o'clock.
Wow. I'm
very happy to do that with my personnel. So, so that's relieving, knowing that there's a place I can go and keep this child from 9 o'clock, and somebody with a good heart will really look after this child without feeling, oh God, I'm tired. Oh God, this. Oh, pay me more money. You don't have to. I'll tell them, if you cannot pay, that's no problem. God will continue to provide for me, and I will continue to do what God has blessed me to do. So they should let out. They should stop living in this stigmatization era, or because of we want to protect your dignity, your person, isn't it? There's no need. Bring them out, include them, let the world know what's going on. That's even when you have more support. You don't know who is out there that will support you. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. So as we round up, I'd like you to give your final word I'd like you to encourage the mothers. I would like you to encourage the fathers, the children in this situation, even siblings that have this kind of children around them. What would you have to say to them?
For siblings that have siblings in this situation, just love them. Just love them and be nice to them. Help them with their schoolwork. Help them as much as you can, support them. And for our parents, you're not alone. Stop hiding them. Bring them out. You don't know who is out there, a good Samaritan out there that might relieve you of this whole situation. And for our government, we need to do a whole lot to support families that are going through this situation. It's a terrible situation. We need to support them financially. We need to support them emotionally. We need to support them in any way we want to support them, by even building more schools. Because if we have more government schools with boarding, with respite care homes, they will be very happy. Parents will be very happy, and the children will be very happy. Nigeria will be very happy, and the world will be a better place.
Maybe another time when we have more time, we'll talk about. I saw a particular video of a lady that I think she was autistic, and then a guy abused her and got her pregnant, and then she just put to bed. Her family kept asking who is the father of the child. She couldn't talk, so she just had to point fingers when the person came around. But now she has been put in a family way because of her condition. So there are still some people that abuse these children. Maybe we'll talk about it another day. Thank you so much for
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, that was all we can take on today's episode of Engendered, and please, you've heard it. Stop discriminating. Parents, if you have children like that, no stigmatization. Ensure that you include them. That's what we're craving, or we're calling us for an inclusive society to them. It's just a genetic problem, like she has rightly told us. They're not Obanji, they're not possessed. Do also join us next time for an interesting episode. I've been Chidinma Ufomadu.
Do not discriminate and do not stigmatize. I remain Victoria Agbi until Thursday. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.